Hello, my amazing tribe. I'm excited to connect with you through this video. Welcome to our channel, where today's focus is all about Shamakhi. Let's get started. Shamakhi is a city in Azerbaijan and the administrative center of the Shamakhi District. The city's estimated population was 31,704. It is famous for its traditional dancers, the Shamakhi Dancers, and also for perhaps giving its name to the Soumak rugs. 11 major earthquakes have rocked Shamakhi, but through multiple reconstructions, it maintained its role as the economic and administrative capital of Shirvan and one of the key towns on the Silk Road. The only building to have survived 8 of the 11 earthquakes is the landmark Juma Mosque of Shamakhi, built in the 8th century. Brace yourselves for the next chapter, where we'll be dissecting history. Shamakhi was in antiquity part of successive Persian empires and was first mentioned as Kamachir by the ancient Greco-Roman Egyptian geographer Claudius Ptolemaeus in the 1st to 2nd century AD. Shamakhi was an important town during the Middle Ages and served as a capital of the Shirvanshah realm from the 8th to 15th centuries. Shamakhi maintained economic and cultural relations with India and China in the 12th century, and the excavation of pottery containers prove that Shamakhi also had relations with the Central Asian cities at around the same time. Copper coins found in Shamakhi during archaeological excavations, porcelain containers produced in China, caravanserais serving international trade, prove the role of ancient Shamakhi in the Silk Road. The Catholic friar, missionary and explorer William of Roebuck passed through it on his return journey from the Mongol Great Khan's court. In 1476, Venetian diplomat Giuseppe Barbaro, while describing the city, stated, "This is a good city. It has from 4 to 5,000 houses. It produces silk, cotton as well as other things according to its tradition." It was taken by the Safavid dynasty. Following the conquest of the area by the first Safavid ruler Ismail I, he allowed the descendants of Farrukh Yasser to rule Shamakhi and the rest of Shirvan under Safavid suzerainty. This lasted until 1538, when his son and successor, King Thomas Ir, turned the territory into a full Safavid province and appointed its first Safavid governor. From then on, Shamakhi functioned as the capital of the Shirvan province. In 1562, Englishman Anthony Jenkinson described the city in the following terms: "This city is 5 days' walk on camels from the sea. Now it has fallen a lot. It is predominantly populated by Armenians." According to Carmelite monks who visited the city in 1607, its population was made up of Persians and Armenians. Armenians were actively engaged in trade. In addition to ordinary taxes, the Armenian people paid tribute to other religions. Adam Aularius, who visited Shamakhi in 1637, wrote, "Its inhabitants are in part Armenians and Georgians, who have their particular language. They would not understand each other if they did not use Turkish, which is common to all and very familiar, not only in Shirvan, but also everywhere in Persia." The Ottoman traveller Evliya Elebi visited the town in 1647 and described it as having in the Urs. The Spanish traveller Pedro Cabro Sebastian wrote that the inhabitants of Shamakhi were Persians, Armenians, and Georgians. According to John Bell, an English tourist, Turkish was the common language of the people of 1715, but the city's elites spoke Persian and there were many Georgians and Armenians in the city. The locals were mainly engaged in winemaking, animal husbandry and carpet weaving. In 1721, the Lezgians of the Safavid provinces of Shirvan and Dagestan, aided by the rest of the Sunni inhabitants of the area, sacked the city. They massacred thousands of its Shia inhabitants, apart from looting the city and robbing the property of its Christian inhabitants and foreign nationals, the latter which were mostly the city's many Russian merchants. The Russian forces first entered Shirvan in 1723 as they invaded the Safavid Iranian territories in the North Caucasus and Transcaucasia during the Russo-Persian War, using the attack on their subjects in Shamakhi shortly before by the rebellious Lezgians as one of the pretexts. They however soon retired from the city, leaving it to Ottomans who possessed it until Nadir Shah's rise. In 1742 Shamakhi was taken and destroyed by Nadir Shah of Persia, reincorporating it back to Iran, and, who, to punish the inhabitants for their Sunnite creed, built a new town under the same name about 26 kilometers to the west, at the foot of the main chain of the Caucasus Mountains. The new Shamakhi was at different times a residence of the Shirvan Khanate, ruled by semi-independent Khans, but it was finally abandoned, and the old town rebuilt. In the mid-Urs, the population of Shamakhi was about 60,000, most of whom were Armenians. At this time it was one of the best and most populous cities of Persia before it was destroyed by an earthquake. The Shirvan Khanate was finally annexed by Russia in 1805 during the Russo-Persian War, and Iran was forced to irrevocably cede the sovereignty over the town to Russia under the Treaty of Gulistan of 1813. The British Penny Cyclopedia stated in 1833 that the bulk of the population of Shirvan consists of the Tatar, or, to speak more correctly, Turkish race, with some admixture of Arabs and Persians. Besides the Mohammedans, who form the mass of the population, there are many Armenians, some Jews, and a few Gypsies. According to the official returns of 1831, the number of males belonging to the Mohammedan population was 62,934, Armenians 6,375, Jews 332, total males 69,641. The prevalent language of Shirvan is what is there called Turki or Turkish, which is also used in Azerbaijan. The same source also states that according to the official returns of 1832, the city of Shamakhi was inhabited by only 2,233 families, as a result of devastation from the sack of the city in the most barbarous manner by the Highlanders of Dagestan in 1717. The Encyclopaedia Britannica stated that in 1873 the city had 25,087 inhabitants, of which 18,680 were Tatars and Shaksivans, 5,177 were Armenians, and 1,230 Russians. Silk production continued to be the main output, with 130 silk winding establishments, owned mostly by Armenians, although the industry had considerably declined since 1864. Shamakhi was the capital of the Shamakhi of the Shamakhi Governorate of the Russian Empire until the devastating earthquake of 1859, when the capital of the province was transferred to Baku. The importance of the city declined sharply afterwards. According to the Brockhaus and Ephron Encyclopedic Dictionary Vol. 77, p. 460, published in 1903, Shamakhi had 20,008 inhabitants, 10,450 males and 9,558 females, of which 3% were Russians, 18% were Armenians, and 79% Azerbaijani Tatars, later known as Azerbaijanis. With regard to religion, 79% of the population was Muslim, of which 22% was Sunni and the rest Shia. The remaining 21% was Armenian Apostolic and Eastern Orthodox. Let's now turn our gaze towards weaving and rug making in Shamakhi and explore the fascinating connections it has to offer. Historically, Shamakhi was famous for its carpets, of which decoration using the Buta motif dominate as with other Shirvan carpets. Shirvan carpets are on display at some of the world's famous museums. Example of these are Shirvan 13th century kept in Istanbul's Turkish and Islamic Museum, Shirvan 15th century kept in the East region of the Berlin Art Museum, and Shamakhi 17th century carpets kept in the Pennsylvania Museum of America. Other artistic products include coppercraft, pottery, tailoring, jewelry, woodworking, sculpture, and blacksmithery. Blacksmiths were very popular in Al-Sab. Also developed in Shamakhi. With the foundation laid, let's embark on a journey into seismicity. The city is located in the most seismic area of the Caucasus and was hit by powerful earthquakes in 1191 and 1859, which was so destructive that the capital of Shirvan was transferred to Baku twice. In 1872, the earthquake triggered emigration to Baku, where oil production had started in industrial proportions. The 1667 earthquake is considered to have been the worst, with a death toll of 80,000, with one-third of the city collapsed, according to the Persian merchants' reports. The last catastrophic earthquake was recorded in 1902, which destroyed the 10th Juma Mosque. Shamakhi is near the boundary of 3 plates. In this section, we'll be exploring rivers. Shamakhi is located in the central part of Shirvan, at an altitude of about above sea level, in a favorable geographical position. In the south of Shamakhi flows to Zongdalave, and in the east Pirsatche. The city is surrounded by Beenasley, Gushan from the north, Perdiriki, and Maiden Tower, Georgia from northwest, and Mysari Mountains from the west. These mountains can be considered as the city's natural defense fortifications. There are many springs that provide urban population and people of surrounding villages with drinking water because of located at the slopes of the Caucasus Mountains. In the upcoming section, we'll be shining a light on climate. Shamakhi is a relatively humid city to its area, and has a Mediterranean climate, with a nice amount of precipitation throughout most of the year, and 2 relatively dry summer months. In the next portion, we'll be immersing ourselves in the realm of ethnic groups and examining its broader implications. From the 16th century up until the 18th century, Armenians in Shamakhi formed the majority of the population. According to the 1917 publication of Kakarsky calendar, Shamakhi, then known as Shamakhi, had a population of 27,732 in 1916, including 14,811 men and 12,941 women, 27,259 of whom were the permanent population and 493 were temporary residents. Its ethno-religious composition was as follows. Nationality number: percent Shia Muslims 12,522 45.12, Sunni Muslims 8,605 31.01, Armenians 4,534 16.34, Russians 1,737 6.26, North Caucasians 214 0.77, Jews 136 0.49, other Europeans 0.01, total 27,750 to 100. The majority of the population is Azerbaijani, while Russians, Lezians, and Tats constitute other minorities. They speak the Azerbaijani language, Russian language, Lezian language, and Tat language respectively. With our foundation established, it's time to explore religion and its relevance to our overarching theme. The Juma Mosque of Shamakhi is the biggest religious building in the city. Through its history, the mosque has been demolished or destroyed few times, but each time it has been rebuilt, most recently in 2009. It is the oldest mosque in the territory of Azerbaijan, and was built in. It is second in age in the South Caucasus after Derbent Juma Mosque, built in 734. The mosque was registered by the Ministry of Culture and Tourism of the Republic of Azerbaijan as a historical and cultural monument of the country. The mosque was restored several times in the Middle Ages century. During the Shamakhi earthquake in 1856 and 1902 was destroyed. First reconstructed was done by Gasim Hajibabayev and later by Yosif Ploko. The last restoration work at the mosque was carried out in. As we progress, let's shine a spotlight on economy and examine its intricate interplay within our topic. After the decree on measures to accelerate socio-economic development in the Republic of Azerbaijan, signed by Ilham Aliyev on 24 November 2003, and the State Program on Socio-Economic Development of the Regions of the Republic of Azerbaijan, approved by the head of state, began to increase living standards in Shamakhi along with other regions. Thus, at Shamakhi Carpet Shop, where were installed 40 pieces of machine tools, which belongs to Star Ltd, with carpets such as Gubashirvan, Nakhchivan, Garba and Tabriz. In 2005, at the Shamakhi TV production plant built by Star Ltd, Star branded 37, 54, 72, 74 LCD, plasma, CV and digital receivers are produced based on spare parts of Toshiba. Star Ltd has invested $10 million in the construction of the Azerbaijan mini-car production plant. The building of the historical ethnographic museum named Shirvan was renovated and the bust of 12 great figures from the Shamakhi region was laid in the yard of the museum. Now, let's delve into the intricacies of culture and explore its various aspects. In the 19th century, the town became famous due to Shamakhi dancers, the principal dancers of the entertainment groups, similarly to Tawaifs. The city is home to Shirvan domes, a 15th mausoleum and graveyard located at the foot of Gulistan Fortress. As we move forward, let's uncover the untold stories and fascinating intricacies of music and media. One can trace the music scene in Shamakhi back to ancient times and to the villages of Baku, generally revered as the fountainhead of Mugham in Azerbaijan. Let's now shift our focus to education and explore the ways in which it shapes our perspective. Shamakhi Humanitarian College Max Humanita College. The spotlight now falls on twin towns and sister cities as we delve deeper into its details. Shamakhi is twinned with the following cities. In the upcoming section, we'll be dissecting notable residents and exploring its intricate connections to our topic. The city's notable residents include philosopher Syed Bakuvi, poets Syed Azam Shirvani, Dikani and Mirza Ul-Akbar Sabir, Mugham singers Alim Kasimov, Yova Kelantali and Fargana Kasimova, actors Agasadi Garaybili and Abbas Mirza Shahrazad, architect Gasim Bey Hajibabayov, Armenian playwright and novelist Alexander Shirvanzade, and others. Philobasahatukkabas Sahat, one of prominent poets in Azerbaijani literature. Far Muhammad Hadiok Muhammad Hadi was an Azerbaijani romanticist poet. Far Constant Zorian Ghostam Zorian, an Armenian writer and poet. Far Syed Azam Shirvani Syed Azam Shirvani continued Fusel's traditions in his love lyrical poems. Farpfuga Abodu Eurovision Okulum Kasimov, UNESCO Music Prize winning Mugham singer. Farsabaj Mirza Ul-Akbar Sabir, one of the founders of the satirical trend in Azerbaijani literature. In this section, we'll be shedding light on gallery and its impact on our understanding of the subject. Shamakhi Max in 1656. From Adam O'Leary's book Shamakhi Max in 1849 by Grigory Gagarin. Shirvan. Vedas de Shamakhi Max Female Dancers by Grigory Gagarin. 1847 Phileas Bayani from Shamakhi Young Azeri Girl from Womax. 1883 Shamahinske Boy de Kokas Bayani Woman from Womax in the 19th century. Fastness, Paces, Moas et Costumes du Caucus Descens Zapas Nature par le Prince Gigagari Nopkin Sing in Womax by Grigory Gagarin. 1845 Shamakhi Observatory Shamakhi Astrophysical Observatory Shamakhi Pass Azerbaijan Max Pass in Winter Shamakhi in 19th century Azerbaijan Shamakhi in 19th century Phila Street in Shamakhi 19th century Azerbaijan Shamakhi in 19th century Phililham Alai feud conditions created at multi-apartment buildings constructed in Shamakhi Ok Phililham Alai the tended opening of orphanage kindergarten no constructed on the initiative of Haida Alai Foundation in Shamakhi Ok. If you found this video helpful, give it a like and share it with someone who might benefit from it.